That sounded good.
Okay, Bill, we're going to look at your swing before and after we worked on that connected swing. On the right was before we worked on it, and on the left was after you worked on it. I've stopped it at impact, and then I'm going to frame advance it, and there's going to be some very subtle and small visual differences, but they are not small when it comes to the effect it has on good solid impact and consistent control of your low point. I'm going to move the swing on the right frame at a time, and I'm going to stop it when the hands are about waist high or just slightly above the waist high. Now, as it comes through right there, watch the left arm. You're going to see how the elbows separate a little bit right there. And so you're not hitting with extended arms and you're chicken winging that left arm. Now I'm going to move the swing on the right, and you do have a much more connected swing right there. Both arms, both elbows are moving in sync. They're not really bowing and separating. So that's a good indication. Now I'm going to take it up until the forearm is basically parallel to the ground. I'm talking about from here to here. When that, what does So we're using the parallel forearm position as a reference point to see how the rest of the body might look different when the right arm gets in that position. And there are some fairly obvious differences. Let's look first at this shoulder line. If I draw an arrow from that shoulder to this shoulder, and I do the same here, this is 56 degrees. There is a much steeper, that you definitely have your shoulders turn more on the left. You're still kind of hanging back on the right and just throwing your hands past. So you do definitely have your left shoulder higher, right shoulder lower, which is good. Basically what that means is your chest is kind of pointing here on the right, where you're basically just swinging your hands, you're not swinging your core. And your chest is more like here. And so strong evidence that you are swinging more connected, and that your core of your body, the core of your swing, the large muscle groups, are in sync with the arms. On the right, you've kind of locked down the body and letting your arms outrace the turn, and that's what causes some issues and chaos at impact. So very good right there. I now want to focus on the wrist hinge in your backswing. Because you do have a restricted shoulder movement, there is a source of power. There's 4 power accumulators in a golf swing, and the number one source of power is in loading the hands properly. The shoulder turn is an added power accumulator, but and right now you are restricted in tapping into that power source because of your injury. But there is a power source that is equal to the power source of that shoulder turn that you're not taking full advantage of. And if you did, you could hit the ball further with, even though you're not turning your shoulders more. And that's hinging the wrist more. you have very little wrist hinge, and I want to add a little bit of that, or at least have you focus on that. So let's look at Grant Wade on the right here to begin with. I'm going to take him back to the 3 position. This is when the right arm is parallel to the, the left arm is parallel to the ground, and he has almost a right angle here. Now at this point, you're fairly close. You don't have quite as much wrist hinge as he does. Let's take you back to the top, as far back as you're able to take it. Right there, you're about maxed out. So that's as far back as you've gotten. I'm going to take Grant lifting that left arm about the same degree that you have. That's 25 degrees. There's Grant at 25 degrees. Now Grant has a lot more wrist angle at this point in the swing. And if you could hinge that wrist and load those hands a little bit more, get that club back just a little bit more, that'll give you more to unload it. So by loading the hands through this wrist hinge, you can have more to unload. So you don't have to take it back further, just hinge, get more snap out of the hands. It's not something you have to consciously do. In fact, the more you load your hands, the more unconscious the unload will occur. When you don't load them very much, you almost have to think the throw of the club, because you just don't feel like there's any natural release there. Let's take it down back to the 5 position. This is on the downswing when your left arm gets parallel again. Grant does take it further back, but we can achieve the same 5 position that Grant has, even though you don't have the same 4 position. So if we look at Grant, it's obvious that he has a really loaded the hands here. He really has something to unload, to really snap it through. He's really pulling down. So one of the things that I would like for you to be able to get to this position in that swing, and that'll give you'll hit the ball quite a bit further. There could be a 10-20% increase in distance without having to take it further back with your shoulder turn, without having to lift the left arm higher, just simply through a new action in your hands. So the next time we have an opportunity to get together, I would like to work on this wrist hinge a little bit. We're going to talk about the rehinge on the other side, because once you load your hands this well, let's look at what happens on the other side. When this right arm is here, you're going to see Grant's left hand underneath, and when your right arm is parallel, your left hand is above the right hand. And so when you release and rehinge properly, you're going to have that club head moving more quickly. And then as Grant continues up, when his left arm is parallel, he's got it here. When your left arm becomes parallel, you're here. So learning how to correctly swing your hands and wrists through a golf shot will add a lot of pop to the ball. You just get a little bit more pop. So that would be the next piece. I do like the work you did today on that connected swing. That's going to give you the foundation for some other pieces.